Betrayal rarely begins with a physical touch or a secret kiss. In reality, it starts much earlier than that, through something called an emotional shift. It is not loud. There are no formal breakup announcements. There are no explosive arguments. It happens in the silence of daily habits. She is still there, sitting next to you, still replying to your texts. But deep down in your intuition, you feel clearly that she is no longer truly here. At Femina Mind, we do not teach you how to become a detective or how to sow seeds of suspicion into every relationship. We learn to recognize these early signs not to control the other person, but to stop deceiving ourselves. Because the most painful thing in love is not that she has started a bond with someone else, it is that you felt the change long ago but chose to close your eyes to it. Before diving into the signs, we must perform an important reframe. Emotional attachment is not always infidelity. Sometimes it is simply a redirection of energy. It can happen subconsciously even before she recognizes the presence of a third party. However, once emotional energy has shifted, patterns will emerge, consistent and repetitive. In our mindset, we do not hunt for evidence or dig through phones. We observe the change in the flow of energy. When a woman begins to devote her mind elsewhere, the emotional resources allocated to you are automatically withdrawn. This is an inevitable law because emotional energy is finite. If you are feeling an invisible distance growing, take a deep breath. This video will help you strip away the most microscopic signs so that you can view reality with clear eyes and a cool head, rather than reacting out of panic. In the psychological framework of Femina Mind, women operate based on deep emotional connections. When that attachment begins to shift toward a new object, it creates cracks in the way she interacts with you daily. You will see these manifestations not as an explosion, but as a subtle indifference. Here are the first 3 signs of this shift. 1. Redirected energy. This is the most fundamental sign. Women have a specific emotional reservoir for intimate relationships. She shares fewer deep stories, fewer trivial thoughts, or fewer inner anxieties with you than before. Her emotional reaction to your joy or sorrow becomes dull. It is not that she is tired in general, because you still see her excited when talking to others or holding her phone. When a person begins to invest emotionally elsewhere, they automatically withdraw capital from the current relationship. She no longer feels the need to be understood by you because she has found another emotional charging station. Seeing her coldness, you increase your investment, texting more, questioning more intensely. This only makes you look desperate and pushes her further away. Reduce your excessive emotional reaction. Observe the consistency of this pattern instead of immediately jumping to conclusions. If you have ever felt the energy shift, even when everything looked fine on the surface, leave a comment saying shift. 2. The subtle guard. We are not talking about her setting a password or hiding her phone overtly, but rather small changes in habits. The phone screen tends to be face down more often when you are around. She shares less about what she is watching or who she is chatting with on social media. Her reaction is slightly startled or more sensitive than usual when you accidentally walk by or sit near her while she is texting. When a new emotional bond is forming, it is like a secret garden. She wants to protect that space, not necessarily because she has done something gravely wrong yet, but because she is not ready for this new attachment to be interfered with by the reality that is you. A single behavior proves nothing, but if it is accompanied by the decline in sharing from sign 1, it is a noteworthy pattern. 3. Indirect comparison. This is how her brain processes the shift in value. She starts mentioning a certain man, a colleague, a new friend, or some character more frequently than usual. Sometimes she brings up examples like, "People usually do this," or That guy has a really interesting way of looking at things. These are subtle comparisons of character or achievement where you can feel your status being lowered. When emotionally attached to someone else, the brain automatically creates a contrast. She begins to pick the strengths of the new person to compare with your otherwise normal flaws. Do not enter the comparison race. Do not try to prove you are better than him. Maintain a calm status and observe whether respect for you still exists. Right now, you might not feel certain, just slightly displaced. She's still there, still talking, still present in the routine. But something about the emotional current feels redirected, not gone, just no longer flowing fully toward you. That ambiguity is what makes this stage so difficult. There's no confession, no dramatic withdrawal. Individually, each change feels small enough to rationalize. Stress, distraction. A busy week, and so you hesitate, unsure whether you're noticing something real or creating a narrative. But emotional attachment doesn't shift all at once. It reorients gradually. Like a spotlight that moves a few inches at a time, the room is still lit, just not focused where it used to be. Or like a conversation where the pauses grow slightly longer, not silent enough to alarm you, but long enough to feel different. The issue isn't one interaction. It's the direction of emotional energy over time. What matters here isn't whether she denies anything. It's whether you've started feeling like you're competing with something unspoken. When someone's curiosity, enthusiasm, or attentiveness subtly migrate elsewhere, and you respond by trying harder, giving more, adjusting yourself, that pattern becomes information. From here, the dynamic grows more consequential. Because what follows isn't open betrayal, it's quiet transfer. This is where many people don't get left overnight, but slowly replaced in emotional priority before they ever see it clearly. If you've ever sensed a shift before you had proof, stay with me. 4. No more reassurance. This is one of the most profound and clear signs if you are observant enough to recognize it. When facing trouble at work, conflict with friends, or simply having a bad day, you were the first person she sought out. She needed your opinion, your comfort, or just for you to listen. She becomes unusually independent. She handles every problem herself, or you realize she is confiding those things in someone else. You are no longer her safe emotional home base. Women always have a need for connection and reassurance. If she is not seeking that from you, it means she has found another supply that makes her feel more secure or intrigued. When you are no longer the first person she thinks of in her moments of weakness, the bond of attachment has truly loosened. If you believe that emotional intimacy is even more important than physical closeness, hit like. 5. Preemptive defensiveness. This is a typical behavioral psychology reaction when a person is hiding a shift in their mind. You ask a perfectly normal question like, "Did anything fun happen at work today?" Or, "I noticed you've been smiling at your phone a lot lately." Instead of answering naturally, she reacts strongly. "Are you interrogating me?" "Why do you always have to control me?" Or, "Do I not have the right to my own space?" Excessive defensiveness often stems from underlying guilt. Because she knows she is giving her affection elsewhere, she assumes every question you ask is an interrogation or a sign of suspicion. She attacks first to protect that new connection and to distract you, becoming an investigator and starting to interrogate her intensely. This only confirms her accusation is true and gives her an excuse to leave you faster. 6. Emotionally absent, present but non-existent. This is what we call energy that does not belong here. When you are together, eating out or watching a movie, she seems fine, but her mind is completely vacant or elsewhere. She might smile brightly at messages on her screen, but when she looks up at you, that smile vanishes or becomes forced. Conversations between you become short Q&As, lacking depth and mutual curiosity. Attachment is emotional presence. When her heart has already placed a deposit elsewhere, the connection with you is merely a formality. You can feel the coldness from her breath and her gaze, even if she is still holding your hand. If you have ever felt like she is right here but doesn't belong here, leave a comment saying distant. We have walked through the 6 signs that deconstruct a woman's emotional shift. But now, Femina Mind wants you to face a harsher reality, the truth of how you handle it when you realize you are no longer the sole priority. When attachment no longer belongs to you. The hard truth is this: when a woman has emotionally bonded with someone else, it rarely happens as a sudden accident. It is usually the result of a long process where the connection between the two of you has cracked, or her value structure was inherently unstable. And the most dangerous thing right now is not her behavior, but your reaction. When a man senses he is losing his status, his natural reflex is panic. You try to fix things by investing more, buying gifts, promising change, or worse, using control to keep her in place. At Femina Mind, we call this desperation. Remember this clearly: desperation never pulls a heart back. It only confirms to her that her choice to shift her emotions was correct because you are showing weakness and a lack of self-respect. The moment you try to reclaim attention through fear, you have officially lost the status game. And in the end, the point worth reflecting on is not whether she has fallen for someone else, nor is it for you to rush to conclusions or accusations. The deeper issue lies here. When those signs appear, do you still feel a complete connection, or are you becoming accustomed to receiving only a fraction of her presence? It is not because you lack value, but because something has shifted within the relationship. Many tell themselves, maybe I'm just overthinking, maybe this is just a phase. And yes, not every distance signifies betrayal. But there are also times when your intuition does not stem from insecurity, but from small, repeated changes that have occurred long enough to no longer be coincidental. Trying a little harder in that situation is sometimes not patience. It is simply a way of delaying the admission that you are no longer being chosen with the same priority as before. Femina Mind does not exist to make you doubt every relationship or turn you into a controlling person. Femina Mind is an observational mindset, helping you look at these changes with calmness, without panic, and without denial. It is a way to keep you from falling into extremes, either blind trust or out-of-control jealousy. And above all, it is the self-respect compass that reminds you that you deserve a whole connection, not a fragmented affection. Perhaps the question worth pausing on for a few seconds is not, is she thinking of someone else? Instead, it is, if I continue to stay in this feeling, am I listening to myself enough? If you want, you can share your experience in the comments section, not to accuse anyone, but simply to be honest with your feelings. And if Femina Mind helps you maintain that clarity and dignity, you can stay and follow the channel. Not to find evidence against anyone, but to ensure you never ignore the signals within yourself.